Welcome to the Story Tinker podcast, a place for in-depth analysis of stories, mainly from Webtoon. Co-hosted by sharp, witty, and dare I say, thirsty fans, we dive deep in every episode, analyzing character struggles, relationship development, and of course, theories. We also interview people working in creative industries. You can follow the Story Tinker on YouTube, podcast platforms, and social media. For bonus content, sneak peeks, and more, you can support the Story Tinker on Patreon. We're really appreciative of your likes, subscribes, follows, comments, and ratings on all platforms. Thanks for listening to the Story Tinker, and let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 93 of Midnight Poppyland, and today we are here with Darla and Saucy and Patty, whose birthday was this week, so...
Oh God.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
La Rosa Morada.
Happy birthday to
you and many more.
Oh, thank you, ladies.
And a shot. I texted Peg already.
My shot is green tea. Sorry about my voice.
Oh, it's okay. I'm just so thankful that you ladies are here. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Next time
You don't look at all older.
Not at all. You look just the same as yesterday.
Right?
You're Benjamin buttoning this like crazy.
I take that as a great compliment.
Awesome. All right. Well, we have a super exciting chapter, so let's get right to it. So we start out with, we hear the noise from the TV is on in Tora's apartment, and Poppy says, "Tora, do you hear that?" And they creak open the door, obviously, like very spooky, and they whisper, "The TV is on. Didn't we turn it off before we left? What if one of your boss's men sneaked in?" Which I find funny because she's saying that as she's just barging right in.
Right. Like, oh, let's just go in. Let's not check. Oh my God. And I'm not gonna lie, I was right there with Poppy. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? Like, because I couldn't remember if they turned the TV off or not. And of course it's Quincy.
Yep. And yeah, the scene goes dark and Tora's eyes are shadows. So obviously Lily sets us up to think that it's gonna be horrible, but
I know.
Fine, we'll talk inside. And someone says, "About time you two got home," which sounds so sinister, but yeah, it's just our little Quincy bubble. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I love this episode in large part because my favorite little boy is there.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I'm glad he's there though, because like of all the people that could have been in that apartment, I mean, I think we can already deduce that he's got a key to Tora's apartment because he was in there before hiding the guns. So, oh goodness.
Yep. And yeah, someone yells, probably Poppy, and Tora's like, "Fucking hell, Quinston!" Like, whoops. And now, it looks like they've sat down and they've chatted, so it kind of looks like it's mid-conversation. So Poppy's saying, "So it was Mrs. Balthuman, your mom, who told you?" And Quincy says, "Yep, they're sitting on the couch. Tora is checking his phone, and we see that he is reading a news article. There's breaking news. The Nine Daggers clan leader was arrested for manslaughter and blackmail after a video of him shooting a man in the head was leaked. Several other videos of similar nature are reported to be circulating around, and the city's chief criminal investigator is preparing to launch a full-scale investigation on all existing charges against clan leaders that were previously dropped due to lack of evidence. The investigator, long renowned for its aggressive stance against the Naren City corruption clans, is blah, blah, blah." Anyway, that's Goliath's work.
Yeah, something is up. And I was saying this in my analysis. I'm still working on it, and I'll get a little bit more into it when we get later on in the episode. But all of these things that have happened in this one day cannot all be coincidence. I'm convinced that they're connected in some way. So we've had Gil, because we know he has the notebook, right? We know that Gil is skipping town or trying to skip town, or at least giving the illusion that he's skipping town, right? Because he knows that someone's on his tail. And then on top of that, we have the break-in at Poppy's apartment. And now we have this, and it all happens in one day. That's highly suspicious. Like, yikes.
It might be nice to recap this day real quick because I mean,
Yeah.
when you think about it, it started off, she'd been home from Moonbright for a few days. She goes to
Mhm.
work. We have the making out in the closet, right? And then the
Yeah.
promise to pick her up, and then the coffee shop thing, and then he goes and tails Gil, and then he doesn't pick her up. I mean, it's like a whole, and then she
Mhm.
goes to his apartment, and then the break-in, and then I mean, it's a never-ending night. I mean,
I
that
know.
wasn't the greatest recap. Sorry, but it's a lot of day in there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. This would, I think I'm already wiped out just thinking about it, you know?
Especially now that, I don't know about you guys, but I'm an old lady and past 10, 11, I am like,
Right, right. And this has got to be super late because we know he didn't make it over to her apartment until like 8 or 9 o'clock.
Yeah, Lily does
We
say
get
the
a
time is
time
1 a.m. or
frame
something.
from the mom. Doesn't she say it's 1 o'clock or something? 1
Yeah,
a.m.?
yeah.
Yeah.
What? I didn't know that.
It's
Mm.
super late.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm convinced that something is going on here that is connecting all of these things. So the dude who broke into Poppy's apartment, he hopped onto what looked like a speedboat. Those aren't cheap, right? So that tells me, I'm like, is this clan related, right? And I don't know if it's connected to Gil or not. It's highly probable. I think Darlene, you and I talked about it, that
Mhm.
it's pretty possible that Gil, because who else would know about Poppy at this point, right? But I think there's some connection there. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm very suspicious.
Yeah, well, this is what makes it exciting.
Yes.
I mean, are we 100% that those videos are coming from Goliath, or could they be coming from someone else?
See,
I
I
thought
don't
they were
think
from that one, the waffle shop, Waffle House guy.
yeah. Yeah, because we knew he had one and he was hyped to sell it to get some cash.
But
Um,
that would be a good loop if it actually wasn't Goliath and it was some totally other character that we don't
Mhm.
know, or who knows, or maybe someone like Sharsh who also was collecting information. Like that would be
right,
a
right,
good red herring.
right.
Because the
Well,
one he had was Modi Suzuki, the politician. But I don't know, were there more in there, or did he just have that one?
yeah, yeah, it's kind of
Seems
hard
like
to
just the
say.
one.
I mean, the notebook apparently says the location of all the other CDs,
Mhm.
whatever DVDs that he recorded, and he just
Right.
happened
In which
to go through
case-
that box.
In which case, it could be Gil releasing the videos.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I was thinking.
Oh, because you think that Gil must have went to the locations to pick up like evidence and submit them.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, because think about it, he's got a very big incentive to distract the police right now. Like he may not know what any of this stuff in the notebook really means or be connected to it. But I mean, he just murdered his wife. He knows that he's being watched.
He's gonna
And
admit that, right?
yeah, and we don't know the clan that he was working with or who the people were that he was working with, that he was in hot water for to begin with. So I mean, to me, in my mind, it makes sense that he would want to distract the police in another direction with other information. And I'm sure he would hand that information over for some money to say skip town, go to another country,
Mm-hmm.
like he did the
Yeah, I
last
mean,
time.
he could have sold it, but he also could have been sending a message too, possibly to Quincy, who sort of kind of threatened
Oh,
him,
Oh,
right?
but he
Or
doesn't.
who?
He didn't know
Yeah.
yet. When he met him, he didn't know that Quincy was the son of the Balthumans. He was just like
It-
sus.
Well, it just seemed like in that
Mhm.
little interview there that there was that subtext. And
yeah.
so this could be a response also in that subtext, but it would also benefit him in some other way too.
Which makes me wonder, because remember, he was wondering about Quincy's identity. And while I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, like I think, what if he found Quincy's name in that notebook?
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've always suspected that Tora's name was in that notebook. We still don't really know everything that's in there, but I mean, it's possible.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah, very possible.
Study.
I also noticed that the chief investigator is his aggressive stance. So
Oh,
not Lane, which
yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
people were thinking it could be Lane.
But good
Mhm.
catch. I wonder if the chief investigator will come up, like if we'll see this guy, and he'll be antagonist, protagonist, whatever.
There
Yeah.
was a theory that it was Chief Schuster
Chief Schuster.
Okay, so
Oh,
early on, remember,
mhm.
so Goliath is on the phone and there's a picture of him and Tor in the background. And he's like, hey, Chief Schuster, it's
Okay.
me. So yeah.
Oh, dang.
Sounds
So
good.
if he's connected to this, interesting.
It'll be
Well,
interesting to
sounds
see
like
who
a
the
good
chief
guy.
investigator is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or who this
Well-
leader of Nine Daggers is, because we don't know that either.
Mhm.
Yeah, also a
Shane.
he.
Uh-huh.
Shane.
Right.
Yeah.
Lots to talk about from one little article.
I
So,
know.
Tora's still gazing intently at his phone. His vision is blacked out a little, so he is hyper focused. He reminds me of Yoel. Yoel gets very, very hyper focused, and like he doesn't hear if you're talking to him.
Mhm.
But yeah, so he's hyper focused, and meanwhile Quincy is just prattling along, and that, kids, was how young Master Quincy saved the day. And he is clapping, and Quincy is hilarious. I love him so much. The little drama king.
I laugh so hard at this because it's so cute. It's such a Poppy move too, to just be like, it's the end of the story, we clap.
Yep. It's so cute. I love drama kings. I really do. It's just funny.
Mhm.
And Tora's like, quit feeding his fat, stupid ego.
He's so jealous. He's so jealous.
Yeah, they do talk like brothers. It's really cute.
I mean, like, look at his body language. He's just got like the furrowed brows and he's all huffy, like, don't give him attention.
Yeah. And he's like, and Quincy continues, anyway, my mom, and Poppy's like, rude, I was just expressing my gratitude. And they're like fighting back and forth. And Quincy once again tries to continue his story. He's like, but then, bzz, bzz.
Mhm.
And Poppy's like, so it's okay for me to feed yours? Like, it's different.
Yeah, of course.
Mission
of course it's
accomplished,
different.
Tora. He
Right.
distracted her.
Oh God. And they've had like their 20th fight this evening.
Oh my God, right?
They're
Oh,
just gonna go at it
excellent.
like cats and dogs till the very end. I just know it.
Yep. So he gets a text from his mom, and he's like, oh, why did I even bother saving these two dingbats? And I must note, Quincy. Okay, I really feel like I'm lusting after him, but he looks amazing. Okay, his like broad shoulders and his like arms and his little narrow waist.
He
and
does.
Just saying, he looks amazing.
He does look amazing. I will give you that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's the rolled up sleeves. I'm telling you. It just accents everything else, right?
blonde hair that goes over his forehead. It's like there's nothing I love more. But yeah, so he gets a text from his mom, and mom says, "Is mommy dearest?" He has her as mommy dearest. He's such a cutie little boy. I love him. I love his whole interaction. Oh my gosh! And so she says, "Done and done. You owe me one." That face.
Yeah. Oh man. She is oh man, this is gonna be funny. Is this the part where I take over?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Okay. So we get that text from his mom, and it's still at this point, like, I'll be real, like I was still kind of, and please forgive me if I'm pronouncing her name wrong. Is it Goa?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Darla.
Mhm.
But I was still very suspicious of her in the beginning, but this episode solidified it for me. She's good people, and I will
I
get into
told
that.
you.
I know, but you
I
know
always have a
me.
good aura about people and characters.
Yes, and I will listen to you next time. My paranoid butt was like, no, I don't trust her. Oh gosh,
I like her, even though we know something. I still like her. I have
Yeah.
nothing against her.
we'll let it slide. We'll let it slide.
Yeah.
So we get this text, and then we kind of flash forward to what it looks like it's Goa texting Quincy at that point, right? And so we get this view that they're out on the river, and she's there with Vincent, or who I presume is Vincent.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, I mean, not to say, well, okay, I know we have lots of people who are like Villain. So to say something good about Villain, his shirt is beautiful. Like the pattern is stunning and the coloring is stunning. So say what you will, he has good taste.
Honestly, I felt like that was something more that Quincy would wear. And so
Yeah.
I was a little surprised by it. But I mean, Vincent does like to be flashy, and we find out a little bit later why he wants to be flashy. So
I love flashiness. Like I absolutely love gaudy prints and stuff. But when I look at Vince in this, like even though I love florals, I just think he's like a fucking douche in this. Like I'm just like
Darla, if Quincy were wearing this, how would you feel?
I would be like, oh, he looks pretty, you know. But like when it's Vince, it's like you're so fake, dude. Like you're trying to put on this front, like you're this fancy man, and you're just taking your wife on this yacht, but you know damn well like you don't fucking love her. Like you're a dickwad, and you're trying to put on this flower sweater to present yourself to the world like you're like this soft boy. It's like, no, you're not. Go wear your stupid suit and that puffy thing or whatever that shit's called.
The ascot.
Yes, the ascot.
Okay.
So I agree with you, Darla. This is off brand for Vincent. If like I said, it feels more like Quincy. So I think you're right. He's trying to put on a front. He's trying to make things seem maybe more friendly than they are.
I kind of saw that shirt, which by the way has a butterfly, but I kind of saw that as kind of invoking his narcissism and that edge of floof, like it's all about me, look at me kind of thing. So I mean, it is a little bit strange, but pausing for a second. Oh my God, I can't see. So these two panels on these two panels, look at the visual storytelling there in the opposites, the mirror images of the husband and wife and what it says about their relationship, that what are they paying attention to. We see in a minute that Vincent's playing a game. She's like she's running a scam or a stratagem through her phone, but even their clothing there, like she has the power outfit on, she has black, she's got the serious, and whereas he has a butterfly. So it's really the visual story here of that, like all it reveals of their relationship just in those two juxtaposed panels is Lily at her finest there.
Yeah, you're right, Peg. Like he's the one that's being flashy and showy. So he's being Mr. Boss Man for show, but in reality we know who the true boss is now.
The car last time, the power car, and now her outfit versus his clothes. And then that perfect mirror image in those two panels is really,
yeah. And you can tell right away that they are miles apart.
Yeah, there's no connection there.
Right. And it flies in the face of what she did earlier, like when people were watching. She was the doting wife, but like the entire time that I was reading / like mind listening to like what wasn't being said, I was like, I just honestly, Darlene, I imagined your voice saying those words to him, like, oh darling, it's been 2 weeks, right? And I'm just like, I could hear the snark. Like all the subtext was there. And so this is just like you were saying, Peg, this is kind of giving us a visual version of that.
Yeah.
And I just, when I look at these panels, like it's cold as fuck in that yacht right now. Like,
oh yeah,
they're literally on top of the yacht and it's super cold at did he say like 1 a.m. or like midnight around there?
Yeah.
Like, look at this cold, loveless marriage. There's no love in their eyes at all. That's
I know. Because that next panel, absolute contempt.
Yes.
My God, she cannot stand this man at all.
Does Vincent like realize it and not care? Is he like not even aware because he can't read people's signals? I mean, he's just scared of her and doesn't factor into it. I would think his ego would be bruised.
I think sometimes, like, kind of piggybacking off of your comment about his narcissism, Peg, I think part of him, even if he recognizes it, he ignores it.
Mm.
Like, how could she not? Like, and there's parts of the conversation that I'll get into a little bit later that kind of cue me into that he might be aware of it, but he's like pretending it doesn't exist. Because I mean, how could you not, after so many years, know that the woman that is in your life absolutely loathes you? And like this panel of her looking at him, oh, man, I don't know. That tells me everything I need to know about her feelings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever look at your significant other that way sometimes?
I don't know if it's that deeply, but like, I don't know. Like, it's not just annoyance or, oh God, you're being so ridiculous, but this just feels like absolute hate. Oof. So we find out, and I think this is kind of our clue as to why she's giving him the death stare. So we get this little flashback, and we see these like background characters. They're all hugging, you know, and we find out that it's at the airport, right? So they're all being greeted by their family members and welcomed back and all that good stuff. And then this last panel right here, we see Goa. She's coming out of the entrance or the exit, and there's no one there. Like, look how small she is in that panel.
How
She's
sad.
so itty bitty, and there's
But
nobody
she still
there.
stands. She stands
Yes.
with a ton of confidence. She
Oh,
is
sure.
sure. Her shoulders are up, her back straight. She's got a woman who knows what she wants.
Yeah.
And a
that-
bunch of super heavy bags. Which
Yeah.
is huge. Mm-hmm.
Which, if you want to talk about metaphors for baggage,
Oh, nice.
I'm sure there's lots of baggage from the years.
Mhm.
But just, I don't know, that open, empty space, man, I felt that like she got forgotten. And so of course she goes straight into fuck these buttholes. Like, they just left me here, right? She's like, damn those Balthumans. I should have known they'd forget. The Alton clan would never have let this happen. Ooh.
Alton, okay.
Yes. So we have the other clan.
She's also
and
clearly loyal to her clan. Like, she has been,
Sure.
it sounds like she's been fed up with the Balthumans for so many years. Not just because of Vincent, she probably feels like they're incompetent compared to her, how she grew up.
Yeah. Yeah. And
There's a side story. Sold to the Balthumans.
oh God, can you imagine that as a prequel?
Oh, that would be good.
Put that in your cap, Lily. Oh man. And then she goes on, she like, just like you were talking about, Peg, she's a woman of action, and she's just like, forget this, I'm going to call them and give them a piece of my mind, right? She's like, that devil better not blame me if the press spots me here without him. And to me, I'm just going to make a brief comment about that. So what that told me is that optics with this clan are a very big deal. So
it's just Vincent and his narcissism.
Sure.
Appearances.
Well, yeah, for sure. But then she's talking about the press seeing her there without being picked up, right? So it's like, God forbid that becomes like cannon fodder for the press to be like, hey, we're going to take you out. Like, what's going on? Making them kind of like in the spotlight for the wrong reasons. Because they could twist and turn that all they wanted to, right? So she calls, and someone picks up, and they're like, madam, are you back already? As if like he's realizing, oh shit, we forgot. And she's like, get your wrinkly old butt over here, Smithy. I need a ride back. Heaven forbid the Lady Balthuman is seen taking a taxi home.
Smithy.
This poor old man.
Yeah, and to say a nice word for Smithy, he is the one, I believe, isn't he the one who threw up after Vincent killed the guy in front of him?
Yeah. Last we saw him, he was barfing.
Yep.
So
Because he was not used to Tora.
And I guess he still cares about human beings being killed in front of him. So very good.
Yeah. And he's clearly stumbling here. He says on the other end of the line, certainly, but I'll need some time to get here, madam. The master, I mean, we are occupied at the moment. And oh man, she is pissed. Like, occupied at this hour? With what? They're about to go look for Tora. Big troubles brewing. Big troubles. And then we get a little we get a very sweaty-faced Smithy in the next panel, and he whispers, the Nine Daggers clan leader was arrested after a video of him shooting someone in the head was leaked. And apparently Goliath's notebook contains the exact locations of those videos.
Do you think any of the locations in that notebook are directly tied to the Balthuman clan? And that's why they're making it such a huge deal?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, if we think about it, back to episode 2, Goliath was willing to betray Tora, which tells me...
I still have my theory.
What's your theory?
Oh, well, I've said it a million times that it wasn't that he was trying to help Tora get out of the clan by allowing him to come clean and maybe get that amnesty, that whatever, witness protection or whatever it is, and that Tora is, on his way out with a secret plan with Lane or whatever. So that's my theory.
I mean, possible, right? I think, I don't know, man, because we don't know a lot about Goliath, but what we do know is that he's cunning. And I just get the impression that he's like, the little bits that we've seen sprinkled about his friendship with Tora tell me that he's more about himself than the people around him. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you ladies think?
I think the very first time we ever see Tora in episode 1, when Goliath is like, help me, and he throws the phone, and he's actually, and no one is watching. It's not like he's like, okay, here goes our secret plan. But no, he's like, that asshole, it's right. He doesn't want to, it's just his own conscience eats at him and his past with Goliath. And he's like, all right, I don't know, my day off, F it, let's go save him. But he really doesn't want to. And that call isn't welcome. And it's not like he's, in cahoots with Goliath on something. So it's kind of like either Goliath actually betrayed him or Tora had the real perception that Goliath betrayed him.
Fine. But maybe Goliath betrayed him and he just didn't tell Tora that it was for his own good.
Yeah.
Whatever, okay? This is my theory and I'm sticking to it.
Lily, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We need more Goliath. We need to know more about this man.
Okay,
are we in agreement that, well, maybe it's just me, that Goliath is his younger brother? Like, do we all agree on that or no?
I don't think he's the brother. I think he's a cousin. But I mean, honestly, I have no idea.
I just feel related. They look so closely related, same eyes, and the way that when Tora threw that phone in the first episode, it's like fuck, like my little brother, that annoying, I feel obligated to go,
like, god damn it.
Yeah. So
that's true.
I feel like they're related for sure, and if I'm wrong, whatever, it ain't the first time, but I feel like he's his little brother, so Tora's we all know that he's this lonely soul in the world, so that's why we love him, but maybe that's why Goliath is his only true blood relation, so it's he has to take care of him, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah. Oh, I think they're related.
Be blood oath between the Aries Street kids too, that they took some sort of blood oath in those years, and he still has to honor that too. But yeah, I agree with you on the obligation that you do not want to see through, but you kind of have to.
Yeah. So I mean, kind of swinging back around and thinking about how this applies to who's leaking these videos and what's going on. it makes me think that there's definitely more than one party involved. And unfortunately, the notebook is out in the world now, right? Somebody else who doesn't have any business having it, Gil, has it and is probably using it to his advantage. And it also makes me think Goliath was probably not the only one involved on his end with this.
Did we even ask the question, why did Goliath keep this notebook? Like, what was?
I think he was always, like you said, Patty, he was cunning. I think he always knew that he could use it to his advantage. And at some point, I don't know whether he originally wanted to use it to get out of the clan life.
Sure.
But I think that he's just a smart guy, and he knows that if he stores information, it will come in handy one day.
Sure.
In a notebook.
Well,
but I love it. I love it as a plot device. But think about why would he keep this notebook and what's in there? And I mean, it's really wonderful. It's a flexible plot device. You can, as you go along, you can put whatever you want in. I mean, it's great, you know. But it's interesting to think, you know, about Goliath's character and what would make that character begin to keep a notebook. Was it his idea to do that? Did he just, you know? Anyways, I was just tangenting there.
I have an idea. I feel like Goliath is a Scorpio because let's just say your girl here loves to keep receipts, and I think Goliath is one to keep receipts, and it's like by any means necessary sort of thing. And a notebook, like, what if he's old school like me and likes to write shit down? I write everything down.
Yeah.
Because it helps you remember.
Aquarius. They're cunning.
And receipt keepers too.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's why we get along, Darlene.
Yeah. He could be an Aquarius with a Scorpio moon,
rising,
whatever.
Y'all know my rising is Scorpio, right?
There it is.
Yep.
Oh God. Anyway.
I just wanna know, we have about a half hour, so yeah, sorry to be.
All right, sorry.
keep it there.
We're good. We're good. So they talk about the notebook, and then Goa says, "What? You mean the notebook isn't just a rumor? Apparently not. The master wants to be the first to locate the notebook, and he doesn't trust anyone but Tora to do the job. But he's also furious."
Yeah, he just like was annoyed at Tora for not finding it fast enough. So
right. Well, and that's classic Vincent for you. He's going to go back and forth to suit his own needs. And he says, but he's also furious because apparently Tora had lied to him about it, which I think is bullshit, because I went back through and I reread episode 36 where they had the conversation about the notebook, and all Tora, like, don't get me wrong, Tora was definitely deflecting in the conversation and he asked more questions than he answered, but he didn't outright lie about anything to Vincent. I think this is Vincent's perception and is wanting to like externalize blame here, because that's what he loves to do.
I thought that Tora, I don't know if he said it or insinuated it, that like the notebook didn't exist or something. But I'm just trying to think in my memory, but I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, it may be that he was trying to like put the question in Vincent's mind, so that, because we remember he had to divert his attention away from Poppy because he thought Poppy had the notebook at the time. But yeah, so apparently he's pissed off, which explains why he so rudely interrupted their canoodling, and I'm still pissed about that. But Goa says, "Oh, for crying out loud, can't he leave that poor boy alone for once?"
Aww.
I'll be real, I was kind of surprised by that. I was like, oh, okay then.
He went from difficult underling to that poor boy.
Yeah. So again, this tells me that Go is a good actress and that she knows who she can trust and be honest with and who she can't.
Yeah, depends on the audience here.
Yeah. And so Smithy says, "Beats me. I honestly think he's getting a little senile, if you ask me."
Not that old, by the way, but yeah.
Goodness. And then we see in the distant background someone is huffing and puffing and screaming, "Mommy!"
I love him. The fact that he
Oh my
screams mommy and not mom.
Yes.
It is so Quincy, right? To
It,
use
it
like
is
little
very
boy
Quincy.
language.
Yeah. And he's like, your son is here to pick you up. So of course, he's got the metaphorical cape on in the background. He's like, I'm here to save the day. Bless him. He's such a
Not
good
even
kid.
I'm here. He emphasizes the relationship. Your son is here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Which, that's a great point, Peg, because he doesn't say those things about his dad. He's like, is that my old man? Is that, what does he want? Right. But oh my God. And then we just get this look from Goa. And like, this is the part that I was like, okay, she's good people. And then she just bursts into tears, Candy style, like, my baby.
I love it.
Oh God.
Well,
And
have
then
you guys ever, sorry.
It's okay.
Have you guys ever been left alone, like abandoned? You're like the last person there. Have you guys ever been?
You're kidding,
that
right? How are you asking?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
How many
And
times?
you know how sad
Good
it
Lord.
is to be
Yeah.
like the last person there. And then finally, like when you're thinking to yourself that no
one
one
gives a
loves you,
shit.
that
Yeah.
everyone forgot about me. And then you finally have like your one like true love, which is her golden boy. Like go
Yeah.
and take care of mommy. Like that must have been so touching.
Yeah. And he's sitting there like, and he knew exactly how she felt too, because he says, they're there. You thought everyone had forgotten about you, didn't you? And she's sobbing into his chest. I'm like, oh.
Love this. We were wondering like how Quincy got to be a good person, and I think we have our answer here. We finally see like who the soft, loving person in his life is.
Yeah. And, I'll admit there's part of me that still thinks that's just how he is by his very nature. But I am, like I said this on Patreon, I'm relieved that he has one decent human being in his life that cares about him that way. So it tells me what I need to know. Okay.
Oh. And I know, it's just like to see a person have a good relationship with their parent. It's a good sign, like if what's it called? Right. If the parent is a normal person, which she is, right, then it's good that he has a good relationship with her, that he's loving. Wonderful. I love it.
Yeah. And then he goes into
Is it Darla's turn now, by the way, I think.
Is it? Okay.
Oh, is it? Okay. All right. Okay, I'm Quincy. How's our dearest matriarch doing? Did you have a lovely time with her and the clan? I did. Your grandmother's in good spirits, and I'm glad I got to spend time with them the last 2 weeks. But her health has been deteriorating, especially after the last heart surgery she had. And more importantly, you must never let that old devil know about this. He'd go for the jugular immediately.
Oh God. Okay. I want to pause just real quick on this panel. Look at their faces. Holy crap. It's such resigned sadness. Like Quincy, you could tell, is so worried about his mom. And this is like the first, well, it's not the first, but it's the second kind of soft emotion that we get from Goa here. And she's, you could tell how worried, and like she's worried sick about her mom, but she's also worried about what that means for her and Quincy, because Vincent would take advantage.
So theories about the clan mother, grandma, right? So I'm sure we've had speculation that, is she Pearl? Is it Miss, Poppy's grandma? What do you think?
Dude, I think that if Vince knew that there was any sign of weakness in his mother-in-law, who I think is the stronger of the leader of the clan leaders, like I think he will make an arrangement to kill her even faster so he can gain all the power it is that he has. And like, imagine he knew she was stuck in the hospital, right? How easy would it be like, hey, go to bed room 30 whatever, and then just take a stupid pillow and like, suffocate her on the bed. Like, that's so damn easy.
Well, she probably has guards, I'm assuming, right? If she's clan leader, you know, who presumably has enemies.
But you can be a nurse. You can pretend you're a nurse and smother the shit out of someone.
Or give her wrong medication.
True.
Yes.
And that's a mob thing to do, right? And well, and one of the things I'm seeing here is that it tells us about the hierarchical dynamics between the Alton clan and the Balthuman clan, right? So we know that they're higher up on the food chain. We know that they're part of, you know, who the clan elders are, and we know that Vincent is, at least on the surface, deferential to them, of like, oh no, like I want you to tell them good things about me, being a good husband and all of that, right? So he has a little bit of fear there with it. So, you know, I definitely think you're onto something, Darlene, that they would use that, like he would use that as a means to like get his power back, right?
So what do you think of the theory that Poppy's grandma is the clan grandma?
You're gonna have to take it a plane
Nope.
ride to get to Moonbright.
Right, that's another thing.
Yeah,
Oh.
I just I
She
don't
didn't have any
think
guards.
I don't think Poppy is related to any of them, and that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Oh, agreed. Fully agreed. I mean, if that were the case, then hey, I guess I'm into incest.
Cousins, they're
Yeah, I don't
cousins.
think that's happening.
Yeah, no.
All right.
All right, let's keep going. Fear not, mommy. Your faithful son is Balthuman in name, but Alton in spirit. That's my boy. But why do you stink so bad? Sprit, 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 sprit. So he's spraying cologne, I guess. Sorry, I'm a third car crash away from a nervous breakdown, Mom. My poor baby. And I just want to say, like, I just love that he clearly drove there when we
Yeah.
know that he is so terrified of driving,
Mhm.
and his third car crash away, like that's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm sure he has amazing insurance, so that's fine. Like imagine, like he must love his mom so much for having to step out of his comfort zone and
Mhm.
being so desperate to get himself on the road just to get to her. Like I've been in situations like that. Like I actually hate driving, but when
Mhm.
I do, it's like because I have to, sort of
Yeah.
thing. And he wanted to save his mom. Like he was so desperate, and that was just so nice of him.
And you just know that he had like a pep talk ready to go in his head as he was getting behind
Yeah.
the wheel, like, you have to go save mommy. You have to go save her, right?
Mhm.
We love him. I love him so much. Such a good boy.
Gosh. And like I almost questioned, did he actually get into a car accident? Because like the next panel he's talking about, but don't worry, I got us another ride. And I'm like, what happened to that car, Quincy?
Right.
Explain why he was a little bit late.
Yeah.
Oh.
He had to go buy
But you
another
could
car.
get a nice rental vehicle really easily at the airport right away.
True. Oh goodness, that's so funny. I love them.
Okay. So, but I made it here in one piece and I got us another ride. Although I'm afraid you'll have to take over from here. Don't worry about a thing, darling. Mommy will drive us back.
It really is. She totally babies him, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
gosh.
right. It completely slipped my mind after seeing you. I just received word that your BFF might be in some kind of trouble with your father. And then we see the panel of her on the yacht. A mother's love.
The things
Yeah,
you do
that-
for your kids.
Exactly. Like, just like how Quincy stepped out of his comfort zone and went out of his way for mommy, she's doing whatever it takes to make him happy by being with her miserable ass husband / his daddy on a yacht for appearances. So she's sacrificing her happiness for his happiness.
Although, I just realized, remember we were wondering why the guards didn't recognize her car? when she pulled up to the playground, it's probably because it was a brand new car.
Oh, yep.
That's true. That
Mhm.
is true. Oh man.
Oh, are you almost done? It's close to 1 a.m. now. Hold on, if I don't crush these candies now, I'll lose the game, and I don't want to pay extra for lives. Oh, for heaven's sakes, I'll pay for you. No can do, it's a matter of principles.
Oh my god.
This is what the clan leader is engaged in doing. Candy Crush.
Oh my god. Maybe he is
I-
going senile.
I think the pressure of what he's doing is getting to him. He needs to decompress by crushing candies instead of crushing real people.
Oh my god.
True. Besides, I arranged for the press to be here. I know it's late, but we haven't had any marriage publicity in a while now. And people are questioning my virility. Would you believe that?
You don't say.
He's so
Sip,
narcissistic, like you
I
said.
can't imagine why. Right? I just want to say, Vincent is this like impotent bastard, I'm sure, that can't even like get it up for his woman. And you know, of course he's not fertile. Like he only has one son, first of all.
Also,
Oh,
and he's
man.
totally like you said, saying earlier, Patty, like he's either stupid or willingly stupid, because she's clearly mocking him and he's just like, yeah, of course, I don't know what they're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
he's
Like
I don't know.
he can't even imagine that someone would not like him. But I think, I mean, and this is why I think he just ignores it, because he's perceptive about other things, but he's also pretty blind to a lot of things. And so I'm wondering if he's just kind of using his own selective memory to kind of bolster and support who he is. Because a lot of times what people will do is they have cognitive dissonance, and when something is true that they can't process, or that they can't think, oh god, or if it's against what their ego believes, they push it out as if it doesn't exist. And so he probably does this automatically with a lot of things, and you can tell that this is kind of a typical banter between him and Goa. I'm like, okay. Oh god. But she kills me. She's like, oh, I can't imagine why. She hates that man.
Yeah, she truly does. Anyway, I know you're tired from a lack of sleep, but don't look so sour. It's unbecoming for people of our stature.
Wow.
And
what an
speak of the
arrogant
devil.
What an
Okay.
absolute asshole.
Ugh. Yes. Ugh. Drives me crazy. You know how there's certain things you can tolerate, that like certain flaws you can tolerate in a person, certain flaws you can't. Right. So this is one of them that is like haughty people. I don't know. Ugh.
Yeah. He's basically telling her in the next panel too that like you need to smile. Nothing
And you know
lights
most
my ass
women
on
hate
fire
that.
more. Oh yeah. Like don't fucking tell me to smile.
Mhm.
Sorry, Emily. We hate your man.
I know, Emily, I'm so sorry. Your man is impotent, but I'm sure he's not for you.
That's kind of you, Darla.
Oh god. Oh man.
All right. So here's this impotent man. Big gracious smile, darling. Cameras these days can pick up everything from a distance. Wave, wave. Go fuck yourself, Vincent.
She's thinking it.
Yeah,
So-
she's thinking it. She didn't say it, but like
Oh.
I was like, oh my god, what if she actually said that? That would be hilarious.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I think
Okay.
their relationship is a charade, facade and charade, but
Mhm.
it's a charade. I'll just coin the word. And I think that, you know, if it was openly antagonistic, that wouldn't bode well for their like clan alliance or whatever.
True.
Not married. So, you know, she's just playing along and just like loathing him in her heart, and he's either stupid or also playing along because it's easier.
Yeah.
Remember the mirror image from before?
Mm-hmm.
Their positions are reversed here from episode 5. She was standing beside him as he sat in the power position, and now it's reversed.
Oh,
He's standing at her
Oh.
side. She's in the power outfit fit and the power posture with her legs crossed, pointed away from him.
Mhm.
Ah, very nice.
Nice.
Hashtag.
Oh.
He's like desperate for, the fact that he's like going out of his way, he stood up and is waving. Like he's desperate
Mhm.
for what the media confirmation, validation, attention, whatever.
Appearances.
Mhm.
Optics, as Patty said.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, just like you guys were saying, we know who wears the actual pants in that family.
And she changed the pants now, by the way.
Yes, she
Because when
did.
dressed before, now she's wearing pants.
Another relevant move. And of course, the press is just like, you must be enjoying your romantic late night rendezvous, Mr. and Mrs. Balthuman. Like, oh God, if you only knew.
Which shows things are not as they appear.
Oh God.
Yep. Saucy, it's your turn.
Okay. So now we're back to Quincy seeing the text, Mommy Dearest, from Mommy Dearest, done and done, you owe me one. And then we're back to our squabbling too in the background. So it's okay for me to feed yours, that's different. Why did I even bother saving those two dingbats? So now we're reoriented in time and space here. Coast is clear for now, guys, Quincy says, and gets their attention again. My mom promised some clan favors to the old man in exchange for his company over the next few days.
Oh God.
So i.e. Vincent is distracted. Sit around on $1 million yacht, drinking champagne and being miserable in each other's company, probably. There he is, sweating and feeling bad for his mom. I definitely owe her big time for this one.
Oof.
So I'm wondering.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you go ahead. Sorry.
No,
Say what
go
you
ahead,
needed.
Mindy. I was just going to keep going. Go ahead.
Oh, so basically, some major clan thing happened, right? And Vincent was like, "Okay, this is so important, and I have to take care of it now." And now he's like on this yacht and going to be away for a few days. So, do you think he's going to totally drop it, or do you think he told someone else to like look into it while he's away? Because it seems pretty irresponsible to just like stop it and like drop it and go on vacation.
Well, I wonder what the favors were. Maybe the favors were, I'll have some people check it out. I mean, I don't know what the favors were that he's getting in exchange for her wanting him by her side. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how she put that to him.
Oof. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what those favors were and how that's going to impact Quincy too, because I feel like, oh man, he's really going to owe her. But I do wonder, like, so if it was good enough to distract him, and maybe there's that benefit of his ego, because with most narcissists, if you can get something to stroke their ego, they'll suddenly shift gears. And so that could be part of what's at play here too.
I mean, it was very interesting to me how this episode and the last episode, I'm not sure if I would say changed the character of Vincent or revealed more of Vincent, but diminished him in many ways. In fact, you could tick him off. So,
yeah,
there was the flashy shirt that's out of character in this episode. His own, you can see that people close around him and trusted by him, who should be completely loyal to him, are whispering about him behind his back. His own family members, all 2 of them, have no respect for him. They're not buying into whatever his vision is, if he has one. They're saying he's senile, implying he has a lack of virility. It's diminishing his masculinity. And then he's faking for the press. So his fearsomeness has gone down by a factor of, I don't know how much. So from being an antagonist up here, now he's almost he's an object of ridicule by his own clan members and his own relatives. And so he's much less he's diminished as an antagonist in some ways. So I was kind of, if we had more time in the podcast, was hoping to get into a talk about antagonists, but maybe we can save that for Mindy's villain episode since she's
Oh yes.
yeah.
Oh yes. Oh, that would be awesome.
But he has diminished greatly in these 2 episodes by all of those visual and narrative and dialogue clues.
Yeah, we're peeling back more layers about him for sure.
Right. I think honestly, like, not that I know many mafia people, but I think it's a good lesson to show us that even the scariest people have their flaws. Honestly, the fact that he's leaving this notebook 9-dagger business unsolved, to me, doesn't have any reflection on his like morality, but it shows he's a bad leader. Like, that's irresponsible. Not that he, if you be a clan leader, be a good one. Like, this could endanger your clan. Like, I don't know.
I mean, he has a lot of power. He can take out a knife and kill people. He has temper flashes and smashes things, but he's really not that scary after this episode and last episode. After you see these latest, he's not the big bad guy anymore, or if he ever was.
He's a cranky, egotistical toddler.
Aging.
Yes.
So, but that's not the bad guy. I mean, he could be a bad guy, yes, but maybe not. So I was just thinking about the whole narrative, because romance stories have antagonists. Sometimes they're actual people, sometimes they're internal, sometimes it's a war that keeps the characters apart. So I'm kind of thinking through the whole narrative, where are the antagonists? There's minor ones. Where's the major antagonist? Kind of trying to figure that out. But again, we don't have much time on this one. So maybe we could have a villain podcast, maybe, and talk about antagonists, because I would love that. Because I'm thinking about it a lot. Yeah. All right, so let's go on, because this is the last, these panels here are what we had the fandom flipping out here. Okay, so what Poppy, of course, is like, oh no, Quincy owes his mom, I need to jump in. Well, whatever you have in mind to return the favor, count me in. And Tora too, right? Tora's looking down like, oh, she'd be delighted to see you again. But Tora, eyebrows, what do you think? Tora! There he is, the glowing black background, looking down, sweating, not meeting anybody's eye. And then Quincy dances on the edge of the pact. See, here's now where it gets a little weird. And then Poppy starts making assumptions with Tora looming behind her. I guess he had 2 beers instead of 1. And here come the giant hands. Gonna wrap her up as if she just fell out of a tree or something. And then, for fuck's sake, Quince. He was sober, surprisingly, Quince continues. And we have the great action lines focusing on him in the distance there, muffling her and throwing her around. Then with her sidetracked, stumbling about in the background, we had a pact. I'm sorry, but everyone's got to roll in the beds they make someday. And this is like, we're back on the schoolyard. He's about to pull Quincy's pants down. One that was 8 fucking years ago. Miss Editor, help me. So Quincy says, strategy number 1, call the ladies in for help.
Right? He literally just said, you got to make the bed you're rolling in. And as soon as Tora beats him up for, spilling the beans, he's like,
and he's like, except for me, I don't need to roll in any beds except maybe Cordy's. Okay, so then of course we get the last panel with Tora reaching out in front of the screaming Quincy and Poppy winding up. She looks like she's gonna whack him upside the head or something. And there it is. There's the mystery cliffhanger for this week. So theories.
So I'm just so relieved that he's into older women. I'm 5 years older than him. So hey, baby. Like, you know, you want a sugar mama for you? Like,
Shoot your shot, honey. Shoot your shot.
yeah, I'm here. I can take care of you. You know,
Oh gosh, he was like what,
And
18, right? He's 26,
that's-
but 8 years ago, he's 18. Just
That's
legal.
fan theory number one is the big implication that Tora hooked up with Quincy's mom. But then is it Lily playing with expectations here? And that's not actually what happened. What do you think, Patty?
So, I mean, upon first read, I was like, oh yeah, he fucking slept with her. And because that's the impression we're supposed to have, right? And that's the conclusion, because we're kind of supposed to see this from Poppy's eyes. So we can tell that she definitely assumes that they slept together, right? We're never really told. So I think there might be something to this. Maybe they didn't, but maybe they got really close to doing it, right? But clearly, here's the problem. Whatever it was embarrassing enough for Tora to flip the fuck out about it. So he might as well have just said, yeah, I slept with her.
but would it be worse if he just got like a blowjob, or is that like the same thing?
I don't know.
Just can't see Goa giving it this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why?
That's
I
just-
would. Like, it's not even you know, if you
I feel
see
like
this
she'd be the
hot
type
little
to
stud muffin and you have this old impotent husband,
Uh,
you're gonna
uh,
want to have some of that in your mouth.
I think she would be the type to make him do everything for her. She is the queen. And this guy has to work for it.
I mean,
Maybe.
true, but like sometimes you like to give a little too.
Maybe this is
True.
Maybe this is a clue into why Tora thought he had just a crush on Poppy, because maybe he had a
Last
crush
time.
on Quincy's mom.
Oh, well, she's
And
gorgeous.
So my current, I don't know, like I go back and forth about it. Like part of me is like, it's possible that he propositioned her and she turned him down, because like maybe he was like, I'm gonna put that notch on my belt because yes. And it's possible that they actually slept together. I mean, but we don't
who
really know.
wouldn't? You know, she
Oh,
has,
sure.
like I said, she has this impotent husband that can't get it up and can't please her. And then if he's 18 at the time, right? He's
Yeah.
this young, dashing, athletic, nice body. Like, if he's hungry for that, you know what? Like, and if he's willing to give it, and my husband ain't doing shit for me, hell yeah, I'm locking that door and you're coming in the door with me. Like,
Yeah. And let's remember, what was it? It was one of the episodes from last season where we got that shot of 19-year-old Tora, and we all lost our 30 and plus crowd. We all lost our collective shit.
when he had red hair.
Yes. Oh, goodness.
And a bag.
I
But there are
reactions.
There are clues. There are clues in here, though. So
Yeah.
she's calling him your BFF. She's calling him that poor boy.
Yeah.
But Quincy's implying, she might not want to see you. And if Tora had just boned the boss's wife, why would he be so embarrassed? What's so embarrassing about that? I mean, yeah, you want to keep it away from Vincent, perhaps, but
sure.
Well, she's his mom.
I
think it's because she's his best friend's mom. I don't know if it's the
right
part. It's like she's his friend's mom.
But it's a virility thing. You did the MILF basically. That's not. How is that something that you make a pact that no one will ever tell? It's not like you bone the some unattractive person, right? Because you were drunk and it was dark and you didn't know who you were. I mean,
Yeah.
She's
I think
kind
there's
of a prize.
Yeah, I think there's part of him that doesn't want Poppy to know, but for sure. And normally I would go straight down that path, except you're right, Peg. He did bring up that there was a pact many, many years ago that they would never speak of it. And so I'm like, oh, well, crap. What did happen?
Hey, a part of me thinks that, how Tora is inexperienced with women and is inexperienced with acknowledging his feelings, and he doesn't know what feeling. What if he thought he was in love with Goa and was like trying to spread his feelings to her? That would have been hella embarrassing.
Oh,
Yes. No.
Hella
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah, that's why she would kill
I
the
mean,
poor
I
boy.
don't know. But I do
Aw.
feel like something sexual did happen between them, whether it just be a kiss or, you know, touching his peen or like him touching her penis flytrap, like whatever it is. Like I know there was something that happened, but you know, and I'm not mad at her for it because I don't blame her. I would do the same
You want a
thing,
beer? Yeah.
you know.
Oh, man.
But I feel like, what if Tora was in his feelings? Look at him. He clearly falls in love so fast.
Yeah, and she's
Goodness.
probably, you know, seems like a quality lady. But actually, I have something before we wrap up because I do have to go. I thought the last panel where everything's dark and he's, you know, whatever, Poppy stumbling around in the dark. I thought that he was like suddenly realizing that Poppy's stumbling around and maybe she'll open up a locker with his guns. But I can't remember because wasn't it? He opened it up and it didn't have guns; it had his jackets. Maybe he was at the other locker. I don't know. That's what I thought. The last episode, the last panel was like a somber, dramatic, dangerous kind of thing. Do you think that it's something new or just related to like the fight?
I think it was
One
just
fan
when
theory
I
was
first saw it. Oh, go
What?
ahead.
Oh, one fan theory was that she picked up his guitar and was swinging it at them both
Okay.
because of her kind of wind up poser.
Mhm.
But anyways, Darlene.
So you know how like if you watch horror movies, like it'll be this like dark frame where it's like, oh, I'm gonna reach out at you. Like I definitely got that vibe from the last panel, but then when I saw Poppy, like I just imagined her with like a frying pan or something to like hit him in the head with. Like that's just what I pictured.
Yeah, it
Maybe
took
that's
me a hot
something I
minute.
would do. I don't know, but that's what I pictured her doing. But I know she wouldn't. It's probably just gonna be like a pillow or something.
Yeah. She's got to stop the threat because she doesn't like it when he gets like this. Like we've found out many times that she doesn't like it when he goes into super psycho mode. Well, not psycho mode, but like super angry mode.
His eyes in that penultimate panel are pretty awesome.
I
With
know.
the veins and the pinpoint pupil and his fangs crazy.
He is so worried about this secret getting out. I have to know what it is.
Next episode, please.
Oh man.
I have it. Well, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Say what you're gonna say.
Nothing. No, I wasn't gonna say anything. I'm good.
Okay, fine. Well, anyone have any last final thoughts? Like super fast.
No.
All
I
right.
think we're good. I loved
Great
this
episode.
episode.
Yes, awesome sauce.
There was so much new information.
And so much Quincy. Yes. Well, thank you so much, ladies. Sorry I gotta bounce, but it'll be awesome. I'll send you pictures. All right. Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much to my curated patrons: Susie, Lady Libris, Lily, Jenny, Haley, Molly, Veronica, Emily Jo, Rochelle, Saucy, Tuggles, Meg, Ann, Rose, Priya, Alexa, Misty, Laura, Joanne, Patty, Emilta, Esther, and watching you people, Taurus, Poppy Seed, Marie, Jen, Emily, Jean, Jen, Erin, D, Kay, Lily, Beckett, Miranda, Christine, Sadie, Kelly, Daniel, Teresa, Mr. Gastaldo, and Kaylee. Your support is truly appreciated.